Welcome to Inside Gaming. I'm Brian. It's the weekend roundup. Now with a new camera. Rooster Teeth hooked me up. Sorry I'm in such good detail. I don't like it either. All right, let's talk about video games. You probably saw Microsoft's big games presentation this week for the Xbox Series X. Lots of stuff got announced. We got to see Halo Infinite gameplay. There's a new Fable game in the works. Some cool stuff from Obsidian. A whole lot of stuff. But will these games be cross-gen with the Xbox One? Now, Xbox officials have been saying that yes, for the first few years, all of their exclusives will work on both generations of consoles. Head of Xbox Game Studios, Matt Booty, said earlier this year that all of our games will play up and down the family of consoles. He told MCV UK in January that we want to make sure that if someone invests in Xbox between now and Xbox Series X, that they feel that they made a good investment and that we're committed to them with content. And just a week ago, Xbox boss Phil Spencer also basically said the same thing in a blog post. He said that you won't be forced into the next generation. He wrote that Xbox Game Studios titles we release in the next couple of years, like Halo Infinite, will be available and play great on Xbox Series X and Xbox One. We won't force you to upgrade to Xbox Series X at launch to play Xbox exclusives. It's part of this whole device agnostic future that Microsoft has been hyping for a while now. We don't care what you play our games on. We just want you to play them. We're Microsoft. We're cool now. Well, now they seem to be backtracking just a week later because a lot of the games they announced this week were listed as being for the Xbox Series X and PC only. Kotaku noted that those games included Fable, Avowed, Everwild, Forza Motorsport, and State of Decay 3. And if you go to the website for Avowed, that's the first-person RPG from Obsidian. It looks sweet. It lists the game as coming to Xbox Series X, Game Pass, and Windows 10 PCs, no Xbox One. Then again, Phil said that games would only be cross-gen for the first few years. Maybe some of these games aren't coming out in that window. They might be 3 or 4 years down the road. A Microsoft spokesperson didn't make anything clearer, telling Kotaku, our future Xbox Game Studios titles are being developed natively for Xbox Series X. We will continue to invest in tools for devs to scale across consoles. Which consoles each studio/game can support will be based on what's best for their game and their community at launch. Kind of intentionally vague there, it feels like. Then Xbox marketing boss Aaron Greenberg further muddied the waters on Twitter, saying future first-party titles are developed for Xbox Series X first. Not saying those games won't ship on Xbox One, only that we are leading with Series X and each studio will decide what's best for their game/community when they launch. It feels like, I can see what they're doing here. I don't know. Actually, I don't. Who the hell knows at this point? They used to be against exclusives too, but boy, they seem to shout that word out a lot at the presentation too. Guys, we're going to get to the rest of the news in just a second, but first, let's talk ExpressVPN. Now, remember how Iron Man in the Avengers, he wanted to make a suit of armor around the world? Well, ExpressVPN, that's like a suit of armor around your data. You like that metaphor? I'm really proud of it. What is a VPN? Sending data over an unencrypted internet connection, guys. It's like sending a postcard. It's wide open for the mailman to see, anybody else who wants to look at it. When you're connected to an unencrypted internet network on your phone, your computer, your tablet, your TV, you're sending countless pieces of information out into the digital world that can be seen, intercepted by a bunch of different parties. And look, that's your private business. Maybe you're not doing anything bad. Maybe you just don't want the whole world to know you're listening to the new Taylor Swift album. That's your business. With a VPN, or a virtual private network, as I like to call it, creates a secure tunnel between your device and the internet. In other words, it puts an envelope around that postcard so no one can peek at your private correspondence. I like my suit of armor metaphor better. I'm sorry, ExpressVPN. I'm better at this than you guys are. All right. ExpressVPN utilizes the highest encryption standard. Whenever you're connected to ExpressVPN, every piece of data going in and out of your devices, it goes through a secure tunnel and cannot be seen. Not by the government, not by hackers, not by your ISP, not even by ExpressVPN. So this way you're not going to get an email from a hacker saying, hey, we know you like Taylor Swift, send us some Bitcoin and we're going to tell everybody you know. ExpressVPN is going to protect you and your musical choices. All right, so I love ExpressVPN. I like using it just because I don't want people seeing my browser history, you know, just for whatever reason. I don't want people to see it. Here's how you can get 3 months free, you guys. Click on the link in the description box below, expressvpn.com/roundup. That's expressvpn.com/roundup, all one word. Go there, find out how you can get 3 months for free. Thank you, ExpressVPN. All right, let's go to the rest of the news. Guys, let's talk about COVID-19, aka the coronavirus. It's something we're all having to live with, and we've seen it affect the game industry too, with major events like E3 getting canceled. But now we got some more data pointing to its effect on another big part of the industry, game development. That's a pretty big part of the industry. PC Gamer reports that a survey at the Game Developers Conference, they had to do it virtually, obviously because of COVID-19, it shows that 33% of developers said their games have been delayed by the coronavirus. That's a third of games. That's massive. And the big reason, no surprise, because of the transition to working at home. The report said that 70% of developers have had to move to working from home, obviously because of quarantines. Interestingly, lots of people said they managed to transition to remote work pretty smoothly, but they blamed partner companies as being responsible for the delays. Passing the buck, I love it. One company they singled out was Nintendo, specifically their certification system for new games. It's apparently been bottlenecked due to the coronavirus. Other issues were access to hardware like development kits, difficulties in recording voiceover and audio work from home. I can totally relate to that. They also cited ambient stress as an issue. Again, I can relate, especially if you have kids. There's a lot of ambient stress. Of course, we've already seen delays in lots of games. Cyberpunk 2077 got delayed. Some of that is normal, but you've got to assume that the quarantines and the work from home orders that a lot of us have been living under have played a major role. Speaking of next-gen games, Spider-Man Miles Morales is going to be a huge launch exclusive for the PS5. Now we're hearing that it's going to have an optional mode to make it look extra pretty. Insomniac Games tweeted this week that we will be able to, quote, swing through the city like never before on PS5 with an optional 4K 60 frames per second performance mode. Ooh, pretty. And they attached a little video of Miles swinging through Manhattan, but I was wondering, why is it optional? Why wouldn't you just have that on all the time? Maybe it has something to do with sacrificing like ray tracing or draw distance, something like that. I'm just kind of guessing here. Anyway, it's a cool option to have. The game is due out sometime this holiday season. Video games make you violent. That is a trope we hear trotted out regularly, usually by politicians looking for an easy scapegoat. Well, now there's another study out that shows, yet again, that it's wrong. This one was done by a faculty member at New Zealand's Massey University. It gathered data from more than 21,000 young people around the world. Basically what they did was they re-examined 28 studies that all tried to find a connection between aggressive behavior and gaming. If you take them together, the studies showed a significant but minuscule positive correlation between gaming and aggression, but it was so small it didn't even pass the threshold to be considered a small effect. The report said current research is unable to support the hypothesis that violent video games have a meaningful long-term predictive impact on youth aggression. I'm sure that won't stop people from blaming video games in the future, but hey, when do politicians ever let evidence get in the way of anything? Review bombs have been around forever. That's when angry gamers give bad reviews to a game en masse. I don't know. We saw that most recently in Last of Us Part 2, where some players who didn't like the game's story took their vengeance on the game's user reviews section. Well, now Metacritic, they're trying some new things to combat the practice. Forbes noticed that on the Metacritic page for Ghost of Tsushima, the aggregator actually blocked user reviews for 36 hours after the game launched on July 17th. They wrote in a message, "Please spend time playing the game." I like that. Metacritic confirmed the change to gamesindustry.biz, saying the waiting period was to, quote, ensure our gamers have time to play these games before writing their reviews. They added this new waiting period for user reviews has been rolled out across Metacritic's games section and was based on data-driven research and with the input of critics and industry experts. Who really pays attention to the user reviews? I never read it. I don't know. Speaking of Ghost of Tsushima, it's selling great. By the way, Sony announced that it's the PS4's fastest selling first-party original IP debut with more than 2.4 million units sold globally in its first 3 days. Pretty impressive. All right, time for a 5-second review. If he's made out of paper, why don't the bad guys just carry a lighter? Just light him on fire. You're done. Game over. All right, let's talk about the games coming out next week. First up, Ageless is a story-driven puzzle platformer where you must alter the age of animals and plant life around you to progress in the game. You play as a young girl who braves through heartache and loss as she journeys across a mysterious world to discover its secrets and herself. Lost, confused, and alone, what will Kiara do when she suddenly finds herself with the power to control the age of flora and fauna? An ability that was bestowed to her by a magical obelisk. Sounds like 2001, kind of. Traverse a puzzle platforming world unlike any other, full of myths and magic. Embark on an emotional journey where you will be faced with tough choices and must confront your inner demon. It comes to PC and Switch July 28th. In Destroy All Humans remake, the cult classic returns, terrorize the people of 1950s Earth in the role of the evil alien Crypto-137, harvest their DNA, and bring down the US government in the faithful remake of the legendary alien invasion action-adventure. Annihilate puny humans using an assortment of alien weaponry and psychic abilities. It comes to PC, PS4, and Xbox One July 28th. In Grounded, the world is a vast, beautiful, and dangerous place, especially when you have been shrunk to the size of an ant. Explore, build, and survive together in this first-person multiplayer survival adventure. Can you survive alongside hordes of giant insects fighting to survive the perils of the backyard? Explore this immersive and persistent world where the insect life react to your actions. Shelter and tools are critical. Build epic bases to protect you and your stuff. Craft weapons, tools, and armor, allowing you to better fight, explore, and survive. It comes to PC and Xbox One July 28th. Maid of Scarer is a first-person survival horror game set in a remote hotel with a gory and macabre history from British folklore. Armed with only a defensive sound device, you'll utilize stealth tactics to avoid death amongst a cult of sound-based AI enemies. This is set in 1898 and inspired by the haunting Welsh tale of Elizabeth Williams. It's a story of a family empire driven by torture, slavery, piracy, and a supernatural mystery that suffocates the grounds of the hotel. It comes to PC, PS4, and Xbox One July 28th. Skater XL is an evolution in skateboarding games. Experience unparalleled board control and responsiveness while you skate legendary real-world skate spots. Style your tricks the way you want, from the way you flip the board to the way you move your feet. Feel connected to your board like never before. This has also got to be fun if you're old like me and you're worried about tearing your ACL, so you can't do that in real life. With new ground-breaking and intuitive controls, skateboarding in a video game, it's never felt more authentic, fluid, and responsive. It comes to PC, PS4, and Xbox One July 28th. Terrarium is a 3D puzzle platformer about wanton destruction and adorable gore across a galaxy of community-designed murder gardens. Conquer dangerous alien worlds as a feisty granny with a chip on her shoulder and an army of cute but expendable walking mushrooms. It's been in early access. It finally releases on PC July 28th. Blightbound is a multiplayer dungeon crawler that tasks 3 heroes to venture down from their mountain refuge to face the abominations of the Blight, a mysterious and corrupting fog that enshrouds the land. Explore handcrafted dungeons, fight a terrifying cadre of mystical and monstrous enemies, grab loot, and recover fallen heroes to expand your roster of warriors. Each player will fulfill a specific role on the team, warrior, assassin, or mage, to overcome bosses and solve clever puzzles. It comes to PC July 29th. For the People is an acute social novel with strategic elements in which you take control of the newly appointed mayor of a small city. Will the party provide for the people, or are the people just cogs in its machine? Manage the appeals for justice from your citizens, grant or dismiss requests from subject departments, and untangle a web of political intrigue. Information is your most valuable resource, so don't be afraid to obtain it by any means necessary. It comes to PC July 30th. Hellpoint is a dark and challenging action RPG set in a heavily atmospheric sci-fi universe where the line between science and occultism is blurred. Once a pinnacle of human achievement, the Irid Novo space station has fallen. Its ruins are now overrun by cruel interdimensional entities acting as puppets of the malevolent cosmic gods. You have been created by the author, organically printed on Irid Novo, and sent on a mission to find out the unholy series of events that led to the catastrophic incident known as the Merge. It comes to PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch July 30th. Imperium's Greek Wars is a unique combination of turn-based 4X and historical grand strategy with a mythological twist. Explore the ancient world and open it up to your people. Survive, expand, conquer, and win. It comes to PC July 30th. Guys, that's all the news we've got for you this week. Hope you're having a great weekend. We'll see you soon.
Microsoft's doing a big reveal of first-party games next week. We will be streaming that. Very excited about it. But Xbox boss Phil Spencer, friend of the show, is talking more about what we can expect from their next-gen system, especially when it comes to exclusives. Every gamer's favorite word.
But yeah, the short answer is the Xbox Series X isn't going to have any exclusives.